Welcome back to the Predictable Revenue Podcast. I'm your host, Collin Stewart, and today I'm joined by Arvind Ramasamy. He's the founder and CEO over at Staff Agent, and we're going to talk product market fit. Before I jump in, this episode's brought to you by our founder coaching program. Founders, let's be real, scaling a company is tough. But what if you had somebody there who'd been there, done that before to help you navigate the chaos? Whether you're trying to fine tune your go-to-market, build your first sales team, or just find product market fit, we got somebody here who can help. Welcome to the Predictable Revenue Podcast, where sales leaders teach you what's working for them so you can build it yourself. All that said, Arvind, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Collin, for having me.
Betcha. I want to talk about Staff Agent, but I want to talk about kind of the journey to get to Staff Agent. So where did the idea come from? And talk to me about how you got there.
Well, when I started my business, that's when the AI buzz started coming out in the market. This was back about roughly 3.5 years ago.
Are you saying you're responsible for all the AI buzz? It was all you?
Well, I was on the receiving side, forced to be into it.
Yeah.
When I started thinking on what is the problem that I'm going to solve, what motivated me was the area where there are large volumes of human resources involved, the repetitive tasks, and how I can help those. And then I decided to build a telephone platform driven by AI, where it supplements the human resources to get the work done fast. And then I was thinking, what is the first thing that I need to build? And the second thing was, where is the revenue coming from? So I come from a software engineering and security background. So I decided to start with identity and access management services. And when I started that, I pretty much had SaaS companies for company formation, for payroll, 401k, pretty much everything except for one area, which is hiring. I was still dependent on the human resources where one person cannot reach many in a given span of time. That's when this idea came to me. Why not I build one for hiring first? That's how it started.
And so you iterate through a bunch of different things. You come to this. What was your process for getting there? Were you sitting there thinking about it? Were you talking to customers? Were you iterating through different ideas? I'm curious. Yeah. Talk to me about that process.
Honestly, I didn't do any market analysis or research before deciding this is what I want to build, because I knew if I'm starting a business and I have SaaS companies all over providing every part of my business, and hiring is one area that I couldn't find anyone. Everything else is automated. I spent 45 minutes on a SaaS platform to form my company. I spent 1 hour working on the payroll, but hiring was one thing that I could never find. Therefore, I thought this has a market. This is an industry problem, not just my company problem. Then I went ahead, decided this is what I want to build. So I built the first use case for hiring, where I had hard time reaching out to 20, 30 candidates. Me being a bootstrap, I just had one recruiter, a freelancer who was not on my full-time payroll, who used to help. But then one person trying to fill a position with 20, 30 candidates, it took forever. So I had to painfully go through that. Then from that point, I thought, okay, this is what I want to build. And then I started building it. So I was the first customer for my own product.
Interesting. And how did that work for you? Because I worry about repeating my mistake of my first company was Voltage. I was building it for me. Turns out I'm an idiot and a bad person to build the first product for. How did you answer all these questions and figure out all the things so that you're building something that appeals not just to yourself, but to everybody else?
Well, just double clicking on my thought of the problem statement, my business network also had the same challenge. Everybody, in hiring, the longest pole in the tent is bringing the top, coming from the 50 to top 3 candidates. So I knew that this is a problem others are facing too. And so that motivated me that if I can solve somebody's problem, then definitely there is going to be a market. It worked, but I do have some lessons right after that, which is what pushed me into scaling. And then we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Was it smooth sailing and now you're, 100 billion in revenue, or were there some bumps along the way?
Well, I wish. It's definitely not smooth. I've had my own challenges. Originally I used to talk more tech. I'm not coming from a sales background. So I used to talk more of AI than solving the problem. So it was more of selling the concept than selling the product itself. So it took me about 6 months after the beta was launched to go through that stage, finally I pivoted my style towards how this will help your business operations. So to
In those 6 months, you spent, like, you built the thing, you spent 6 months kind of struggling to sell it. The realization was that you had to basically, I think, figure out how to position it and then realize that instead of just talking about features and specs, you had to talk about kind of the business problems that they're solving. And so, was there anything in the product that changed during that time, or was this just the kind of the sales learning period?
a lot of changes in the product as well as the learning in sales. Plus, like I said, it was more of how does this work rather than how much it costs or how it is going to help. So this is a totally new concept. It's like, come on, who is going to talk to a robot, right? So that was the market perception. And everything changed. I think this was 2024 Q4 when Satya Nadella spoke a lot about voice AI in their Ignite event, followed by, I think, a week or two later, Gemini introduced their voice AI. So now voice AI is all over. So the first 6 months, it sounded like I'm the only one talking about it in my network. So I was go with an intention of selling, but I ended up educating people. And then the answer was, it's not going to work. So that's the phase I had to go through. And especially when I'm bootstrapped, it's good and bad. Good meaning nobody questions me why the sales is not happening, but bad that I'm burning my own funds and I'm not getting anything out of it. Right. So all this I was going through from a market perspective. And from the technology side, there was a lot of lag in the voice. The models don't sound intelligent enough. So there were a lot of challenges to start with. And then in that 6 months is when I tried it for my own hiring. I could see what are all the flaws that I was going through. So that helped me a little bit to shape up, like taking care of the lag. How much would it cost me for all the layers involved in the architecture? So those were the learning. So in short, it was the full stream of learning. It's not just sales. It's everything.
How long did it take from kind of when you had something that you thought was ready to by the time you got your first customer? What was that kind of time period?
I think roughly it took me 6 months
Okay. Where did you find that first customer?
from my business network. So I used to attend forums during those 6 months, like the sales forums and the services consulting firms. I was actually actively talking about it. So one of the staffing firm stepped forward to try it.
Nice.
That was time. Yeah.
What do you think made them take a chance on you?
Well, the problem statement was very evident. They have the same problem. They get at least like 4 to 5 positions in a day, and they have a limited staff. So depending on what kind of position they're trying to fill, it takes few days to few weeks to get to the top 3. So their big pain was, how do I navigate through all the resumes and the initial screening to filter out the candidates? So since the problem statement was kind of very evident in the market and there was no automation involved, and that's when I'm proud to say that I was first AI who came up with that solution.
Interesting. I love it. And so after you land your first one, how long did it take you to find your next one?
I think roughly about another month.
Okay. And was this network as well?
It was a reference from the first one.
I love that. There's nothing better than your customers referring you to more customers.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, these are all the trial customers, like the first and second. And for a longer time, I ran the trial for at least, I would say, 10 months to a year.
Talk to me about the trial. What did that entail? Like free trial, they give you $1, they give you $100. Like what did that look like?
No dollars involved. I just give the platform for free. They start using it. So it was fully free.
And how many folks did you onboard that way?
Roughly about 5 to 8.
Okay. And free for the first year for the first 5 to 8 people.
Okay, here is what it is. I started off telling it is a 1 month free trial, then later convert to a paid. But that 1 month did not gain enough confidence for my customers to say, if I don't have this tool, I can still run the business. So there's no product market fit at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you give them all these trials, you've got them learning and playing with it, but they're not quite sold on it. And so what did you do in order to get them from over the hill of, I'll give you some money?
Well, actually, I pivoted my selling from hiring to sales and marketing. That's where I was able to move forward. So the time that I was selling, the hiring was very slow. This I'm talking about 24 Q4 through 25 up until Q2. So the hiring was very less. So there was less motivation for somebody to experiment. But I started getting a lot of inquiries through word of mouth. I did some, I had my shows in some of the forums. So through that, I gained a lot of inquiries. But those inquiries led towards, can you do something for my sales and marketing? So I quickly learned that there are a lot of customers who are willing to experiment this for a function of their business that has an immediate ROI. So I pivoted myself from operational efficiency to ROI based. So that's
Mm.
one of the sales learning that I had after I launched my first use case. So I stopped focusing too much on the first use case and then
Mm.
start building the campaigning. I call it campaigning because it can be used for sales, marketing, customer support, anything. And
Interesting.
yeah,
And so it was customer conversations and folks that were um, you were meeting through these conferences that were asking you, hey, can you do this?
that's right.
And what was the specific pivot? So you started with trying to solve the hiring problem, and then they started pulling you. What was the direction they started pulling you in?
Well, it's the sales that gain more traction. Like, for example, a car dealership trying to sell their extended service warranty. They want to reach out to hundreds of people. Can your automation work? Because the same logic that we use to reach the candidates for hiring, instead of doing that, we are now reaching a set of people to communicate a message and then collect the responses back. So instead of um, the sales team reaching out to 300 people via email, text, or doing the for real phone calling. Now, one phone call goes concurrently to all 300. The results are captured. Now, the sales team, let's say in a matter of 1 hour, they know who their top 5 leads are. So now they're going to put all their energies into those 5 instead of giving equal importance to all 300. So
Hmm.
that's where it started clicking.
Interesting. And so once you pivoted to that, how did the paid customer acquisition go?
Okay, that was the real good moment in this entire journey where the f- the first question that I used to face was, what is this? Then later I started getting questions like, does it work? And now, how much it cost? So the moment I started seeing that, now I have onboarded a couple of customers without trial, direct paying.
Nice.
Why? Because they see the voice AI space is like expanding. And also, I give references from my other customers. So, overall, the conversion became very easy for me. So, I'm spending time talking to them on how else can this help you rather than just trying to still do the sales pitch.
Gotcha. Yeah. I love the how much is this going to cost me question because it just shows intent. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to buy, but it's a step in the customer development process that just shows that they're thinking about it, you know, and they're trying to do the math in their head.
Right.
I've got a product that I've got my first 3 beta users lined up. We're hopefully going live in the next couple of weeks. And I've been showing it to other folks just to get their feedback because I want to have a big, like, I don't want to do a huge, big, messy launch, but I do want to have a filtered list of folks that I can talk to that I know are understand the problem and are ready to try it out once it's ready. And I had one of those the other day, and
Mhm.
I didn't think they were good. I was like, yeah, okay, I don't seem like doesn't seem like they're really into it. And then all of a sudden he kind of paused, he leaned back and he's like, so what's this going to cost? And my sales brain was just like, nice. You know, it's
Yeah.
not a sale. It definitely doesn't count as a sale, but it's a win. You know, it's you're getting customers a little bit farther down the like, what do you do? How does it work? You know, and there you can tell they're starting to do the math. And, you know, I threw out some pricing and he's like, so you want, that's like $800 to $1,600. And I just kind of sat there and I was like, I just want to see what he said. He didn't tell me to F off and die. So that's a win.
Right.
When you were pricing, how did you come up with the final price that you landed on? And I say final current price, not final last price forever.
Yeah. I I don't even remember how many iterations I went through to the pricing model that I have today. Honestly, even today, I'm not convinced if I'm doing the right pricing model. The only convincing factor is my competitors are also following the same. That's the only reason, but I'm fully not convinced. The iterations that I went through, originally when I launched the hiring use case, I was pricing it based on the number of interviews. Then I realized it is telecom. I get charged based on the minutes. I get charged based on the tokens that I consume from all these AI models. So
Mhm.
then I converted that to the minutes. Same is the case with the campaign. I said, like, if you're trying to reach 500 customers or potential customers, here is the cost. Again, the same problem came. So I went through iterations and finally decided it is the minute. So right now I charge per minute. And I think pretty much the industry is also doing the same. I mean, the competitors.
Gotcha. There's a really good old joke in there, but I think we'll be mature for a few minutes here.
I want to hear the joke later. Okay.
Well, let's just say it has to do with you charging by the minute. We'll let you draw your own conclusions. So talk to me about the moment you realized you might have product market fit.
Question. Honestly, I won't consider me fully a product market fit stage yet, but I'm definitely in the early stage. When my customers started asking me questions like, Arvind, I triggered a call volume of 1,000 to sell X YZ service.
Mhm.
Can you have the call addressing with each individual names, meaning they want me to personalize it?
Mhm.
Then I started getting requests like, can I have a better human sounding voice? Now, your analytics provides me XYZ, but I want ABC also. So the requests started coming in more frequently to a point where I'm struggling to deliver that now. So that's when I realized there is no more a question of me trying to talk too much about selling. It's
Mhm.
about the business is getting some value out of this, but they're expecting more. That's the moment I realized, okay, I won't say I'm fully there, but I think I've got into that first step of product market fit. I would consider it I'm fully there when my customer says, because your product or the platform was down for 5 hours, X amount is the loss for me. That's when I would say, if I'm not there, then there is a real dollar loss for you. So I want to get to that point. For now, they are upset. They quickly switch to their human resource team. It's just that 1 hour of work will take them like a week or so. But in terms of the product market fit, I think I've achieved that first step.
I like the way you're thinking about it. I'm a big fan of like the idea that product market fit isn't binary. It is not a light switch you flip on and you've pushed the button and now I've pushed the button, I have product market fit. I think product market fit is something that exists on a spectrum. And what you have now is some product market fit. And what you'll have in a couple months is stronger product market fit. And it'll keep getting stronger the more you learn, the more you build, the more you understand, the more it fits into that particular market.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly my thought on the product market fit too.
I wonder, do you mind if I ask kind of a harder question? Because like I love the journey. The thing you said earlier was, you started off by building your own ideas in the or not staff agent, that's the name of the company, but in the HR kind of, then you started like giving it to customers to use, and 6 months before you got your first paying user, and then, another couple of months before you got, or yeah, 6 months before you got any users, and then a couple of months before you got a paying user. Do you think you could have shortcutted this? And if so, what do you think you would like? What could you have done differently in order to maybe get here faster?
Well, I wish I got the idea of building something into the sales area as my first idea than the hiring. The
Mhm.
hiring decision is something that came out of just my own problem statement, right? While that is even existing problem, I mean, as of today too. But if I were to go back in time and then think through this, I would think from a selling standpoint first before I think about the AI or platform or anything. What is that provides an immediate ROI to any business? That should be the goal first. Then thinking about operational efficiency. So what I launched helped with operational efficiency. You're able to onboard a resource in, let's say 2 weeks as compared to
Mhm.
2 weeks, right? But that's not helping them gain any dollars.
It is, but it's
Uh,
a harder sell. It's a couple of steps removed from I'll save you money.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of like, there's only, you can save me money, you can make me money, or you can reduce my risk, and like, those are the only three things. It's got to tie to one of those three things. And it's got to be a short hop, not like two steps and a skip away from it.
I wish I met you at least 2, 3 years ago. to know these 3 points. I learned it hard way.
Me too. I really appreciate you sharing. I'm curious what comes next for you.
What comes next? So the 2026 is all about strategically 2 things. 1, expand my customer base. 2, look for a VC journey.
Mm,
All these days, I've been bootstrapped intentionally. Not that I tried and I didn't get,
mhm,
because I wanted to see if I'm even founder material.
Mm.
So I wanted to build that belief in myself before I want somebody else to believe in me and then invest in this. Therefore, it was by design and plan that I wanted to stay bootstrapped. But now the amount of requests that I'm getting from my existing customers, all the additional features, plus expanding the customer base, all this requires more funding. No longer go as low as I'm going now. Therefore, finding a VC and then expanding the customer base. These are the 2 strategical big goals I have for 2026. That's what is coming next.
Love it. Well, I can't wait. I really appreciate you coming on the show, sharing your journey, and we'll absolutely check in end of this year, see how things are going for you.
Thank you so much, Colin.
Arvind, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate you sharing your journey.
Yeah, I enjoyed the conversation. Thank you.
Me too. Thanks to everybody for listening. We'll catch y'all next week.